Now I'm going to explain about the person class. So first, in the header files, I will first explain for the attributes. So for my person class, the attributes I would have the name, phone, and person type for the person. So the person type will determine what kind of user they are. So if they are guests, they would have the attributes guest ID, ID number, email, age, and category. And if they are staff, they will have their staff ID, role, and password. And now we move on to the implementation file to, to show the member functions. So first we have the default constructor, and then we have the parameterized constructor to initialize the values based on the input. And then we have the destructor. Then we have base mutator for the person class. And then we have our accessors. And then we also have the get roles to know which kind of role for the person is. So if they are the guest, we will use the set guest mutator to initialize their attributes. And then we have the accessors for the guests. Then we also have the get person discount to get the discount rate for what kind of category the guest is. And then if the person type is staff, we will set the attributes using the mutator. And then we have the accessor, and we have the validation check function, which is the authenticate. And then finally we have our display member function. Okay. So move on to the test main file. So as you can see here, so in the main file, I created two objects. The first object is person1, which is guest, and then the person2 object, which is the person type, which is staff. So here I use the get person type to display the guest, and then get discount rate to display the discount rate, and then call display to display the guest information. And then for person2, I also call get person type, and then here I call authenticate function in the if else to validate for the password. So in this case, the password is correct. And then finally, I also call the display to display the stuff details. And then finally, the destructor is a default call to destruct the objects. So that's it for the person class.
Hi everyone, my name is Edwin Jing, and today I will present about the reservation class which I implemented in our hotel booking system. Let's start with the header file. As you can see here, I implemented all the attribute in private, and I implemented the many private function like the constructor and the destructor, core business logic function, and the mutator and the accessor for the each attribute to make sure that it can get the private member. And then here, and also the testing method, and there's both association relationship in this class. Let's say first is the aggregation relationship, the person and the room class. When the reservation is cancelled or deleted, the guest account and the rooms detail will not be deleted in the database. And then the payment class is the conversation relationship with the reservation function. It will be deleted when the reservation is deleted. Then let's move to the reservation.cpp file. In this file, I declare all the private function. Let's say I initialize the all the attribute in the default constructor, and also declare the destructor, and then it's the set reservation function to initialize the core booking detail and apply the basic validation. And then I also declare the end room function to allow the guest to enter multiple rooms using the aggregation mapping. Then it's the end service function to enter additional selected customized service, and with the calculated total function to compute final aggregate pricing. And I also declare the make payment function to process the financial transaction and output structure the receipt. And all the accessor function I write with the constant to make sure that our data will not be changed. And here two function is used for the testing. So let's move to the test reservation file. In this file, we'll test each function in the reservation class. I'll run this file now. Okay. So here, test 1 to test the default constructor or the attribute is initialized with 0 and the package is the standard. Test 2 is testing the test reservation and is set with with the given value, and the test 3 and test 4 to test the end room getter function and service getter function. All the function is run successfully, and test 5 is the calculate total function. Here's the total amount we need to pay. And test 6 is the make payment and get payment function. So now we need to select the payment method. Okay, after the payment method is selected, the receipt is generated, and then the display function is also successfully to run, and we also success to clean out all the memory. That's all from the reservation class. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tian. So now I'm going to explain two classes, which is the room class and the payment class. First, I'm going to explain the room classes first. So the attributes of the room class including room ID, which is integer, room type, which is string, price, which is double, is available, which is boolean, and service info of a room, which is string. So let's go to a room.cpp to explain the function. So there's a constructor, there's a default constructor and a destructor here. Then there's a mutator for the room, which is set room, which is work set room. Then there's this other two function, which is work book room and release room. This two is the mutator for the is available, which is to show the room is available. Is to change the availability of room. Book room to change the status to false, which is the room is not available, and release room is available. Is to change is available to true, which is state that the room is available. And the get availability is the accessor for the is available, and the get room ID is to accessor for the get room ID, and the get price is to accessor for the price, and the get room type is the accessor. Get room type is accessor for the room type. So get service is accessor for service info. Display is to display all the info, all the attribute of the room. So that's all for the room.cpp. Let us try out the use room.cpp. So in use room.cpp, okay, now we will test we use this room to test the functionality of the room classes. So initially we declare with room we initialize with room R, and we use mutator set room to initialize the room attributes. Then we display. So we can see the first thing is the displaying the room attribute. Then after this adult display, you analyze it out and go to the next, which is adult book room. Then we display again. Then after adult book room, the room is booked, so that it's available. We'll change to yes to no. So the book room function is available. Then the third one is to release room. Then the availability will change to no. It change to no to change from no to yes. Then we display again. So they display the attributes. Then after that, okay, now you test the each of the accessor. So available of room is 1. So it's accessor is indicating its function. So that's all for the use room. Then next we will explain the payment. So in payment, we have attributes including double amount and method. So in payment.cpp, we will have constructor, default constructor and disruptor as well. Then mutator for the set amount, set method, accessor for get amount, and get method to get method. The process payment is to prompt question to ask user to select the payment method they want. So there will be several selection. Then set method which is changing the method of paying lah. Then we have a generate receive to generate receive of the after the payment. So several details will also be displayed as well. So let's try out to use payment.cpp. So now I'm going to test the payment of the use payment. So okay, as you can see in the use payment.cpp, we declare room with R with one array R. Then we have name. We have declare one string early, and room ID are room book, this day's book, service bar, package type, and array of service. And we have declare pay the pay object pay. Then we set the pay object with the amount of 500, and we process the payment. So okay, so after process payment, you ask the user to input whether 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I input the invalid selection, you will prompt the invalid entry and please try again. So after inputting the correct statement, you output the correct output. Then you will generate receive. So in this receive, okay, including all data will be included. Then lastly, we use we will try out the assessor. So the payment method is e-wallet 500 is the same. So mean that assessor is also function. So that's all for me. Thank you.
I will explain about the hotel class. So here, I define the hotel class using encapsulations. So all data members are private, including room array, reservation array, and counters. So the array represents the recomposition. When the hotel is destroyed, all rooms and reservation are destroyed too. So next is our constructor and destructor. So the constructor initializes the hotel system using an initialize. Okay, so next I will go to the hotel CPP to explain my function. So first is bedroom function. So this function adds new rooms into the hotel system. Each array bound first, maximum 30 rooms. Then it will store the room inside the array and increment the counter. So this demonstrates control data modification through encapsulation. Next is search room function. So this function searches for rooms using its ID. It through the room array linearly and returns a pointer to the matching room. Returning a pointer, this will avoid the copying the entire room object. So if there is no room is found, it will return to no pointer. Next is show a variable room function. So this function displays all variable rooms in the hotels. It will filter and only showing the rooms where availability is true. Okay. Then there is the sort room by price function. So this function sort room based on price in ascending order. I use bubble sort because the room count is small, maximum 30 rooms. Next is the add reservation function. So this function add reservation to the reservation array, and the generate report function is help to calculate the total revenue from all payments. Next is fill rooms detail for staff function. So this function is used by staff to fill all rooms details, including occupied room. Okay, here is the assessor. Assessor, so is the get room count and get rest counter function. We also call a non-constant assessor function, which is get reservation index function. So next I will show the test hotel CPP to run. So this shows that test hotel CPP can be run. Learn about the FileManager class. So this is FileManager HPP. The FileManager class follows the single responsibility principle. Then here I will explain about the constructor. Here is our constructor and destructor. So the constructor initializes the file name and while the destructor is empty. Then here got a save data function and log data function. Save data function will save all reservation from the given hotel to a test file, while log data function log reservation from the files and add them to the given hotel. Next, I will go through about the FileManager CPP. So here is my FileManager CPP. So I will explain about the save data function. So save data function write all reservation data to a file, and this function uses aggregation. It takes a hotel as reference to use its data without owning the hotel object. Next is look through reservation. Here, so I iterate through the hotel's reservation to extract individual guest data, showing the link between hotel, reservation, and person. Next is save reservation and payment data here. So I change the thread to save reservation and payment details. This keeps the data organized and easy to pass later. Here is the save person data. This save all guest data from the person object, ensuring data consistency across the system. Next is the save room IDs. Instead of saving entire object, I save only the room's IDs. So next is the save service here. Then here I save the service details and cross the file, completing the data export. Next, I will explain the log data function. So this function restores the system state, handle the files checking to ensure the programs doesn't crash if no file exists. Yes. Then is the read and reconstruct person. I dynamically create a new person object for each save reservation and reinitializing the guest details from the file. Okay. So that is the reconstruct the reservation and link rooms. I restore the reservation and use hotel search room to relink the rooms by ID. Then I restore the service and add the fully reconstructed reservation back into the hotel. Okay, so the last one is crossing the file. I cross the file and confirm the successful restoration of data, finalizing the recovery process. And so to summarize my implementation, so first is encapsulation. All attribute involve hotel and FileManager are private, and next is composition, hotels own rooms and reservation array, or aggregation is FileManager take hotel as reference. And here we also got association relationship, hotel store multiple reservation. So all functions are properly commented. So we completed the object-oriented design requirement for this deliverable. Next, I will show the test FileManager CPP to check the FileManager can run or not. So compile run. So this shows that FileManager CPP can be run.